The meaning is what you make it. You decide the parameters of your reality. If you want to go through your life, nose to the grindstone, working every day to check all the boxes and all the things that you're supposed to do, and then get to the end of your life and realize like, oh, I wasn't actually living. Because to me personally, there's a big difference between living and being alive.
Hi, welcome to Simply Intentional. My name is Katie. I'm on a journey to live my most fulfilling life and hopefully inspire others to do the same. Come along as I figure out my 30s one day at a time, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my adventures.
Oh well, hello friends, welcome back. I am here to talk to you this week about the meaning of life, something we can quickly get through in 10 minutes, agree upon, and then never need to discuss ever again, right? Anyways, it is now almost July as I'm filming this, which is kind of blowing my little brain because time has lost all meaning over the last 3 years, and you could definitely convince me probably that it was still 2019. So, it's been a wild ride over the last few years, and you know, talking about living intentionally and all of those things is interesting when we're trying to find like our own selves and our own values, but like the reality is like, what is the meaning of all of it? Why are we here? All those fun questions. So let's get into it. If you've been around for a while, you know that like I've been on like a little bit of a journey over the last few years, and especially like 2023 was a heck of a roller coaster for me. No, that was 2022. Jesus Christ. 2022 and also 2023, I guess, was a bit of a roller coaster for me, and I'm feeling really good about like where I'm getting with things, and I'm definitely feeling like getting to a good place with like what I want to be doing, where I want to be going with my life and all that kind of stuff. But then it sort of leads you to like bigger questions. I recently finished Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which you haven't read, I do recommend, but it will literally melt your brain. It was not what I was expecting. It was like way more deep than I thought it was going to be. It was really, really good. And it led me sort of down a rabbit hole of philosophy and physics and all of these things, and just like watching way too many YouTube videos about the meaning of life and why we're here and why are we conscious and all those really like lighthearted topics that one can definitely break into sound bites on YouTube. So that's where I'm at with that. And that's so much what I'm trying to do here, right? I'm trying to find a purpose, trying to find meaning. But individually, I think it's a lot easier to find that than to think about like the greater scale of like, why are we here and like what is going on and what is the point of this? And so I think a lot of us ask ourselves these questions. I mean, I suppose as the type of person that's going to click on a video titled, what is the meaning of life? You know, we're all here self-reflecting. If you're taking the time to watch this kind of content, you're clearly interested in the subject. So I think like a better place to start though than trying to like break down like why we're conscious and why we're sentient and contemplating beings hurtling through space and time on a floating rock that also keeps us alive, is what is the meaning of your life, right? Like that's what we're trying to do here, trying to define our values and all of those things. So what is the meaning of your life, and like what is the purpose of life? To me, ultimately, I think the meaning of life is whatever you make it out to be. We're never going to have satisfactory answers as to why we're here. I don't think in our lifetime we're going to be able to break down why we're here. We don't even really know like why we sleep. You know, we don't understand why humans are conscious. So that's all fun stuff. So why are we here? What is the purpose of this? It's to live. It's to be alive. It's to live your best possible life and to make it a good place for other people. I think that's the best that you can do without any concrete answers. And quite frankly, personally, I don't know if I'd want a concrete answer. Like, would that be better? Would it be good to know that there was a point to this and then you would know the end point? Or would that kind of take away like the magic of being self-aware? That's a whole other conversation. And this video is going to be real deep and real weird, so enjoy. But the meaning of life is to find meaning in it, to be alive, to actually experience your life, to not go through and do all the things you're supposed to do and define yourself by buying things and all these arbitrary metrics that we have set on ourselves. Like, if you look back through human history, we were very much community-based, and we have this idea that how we live now is the best way, and that people have always sort of been driving towards this. You know, you get into the idea of capitalist realism, where this is the only outcome of humanity, and I don't really agree with that, because I was reading this piece about this skeleton that was like really old. I can't And that was like really old, like 1,000,000 years old or something, like this primate type thing, and it had evidence of a broken leg, but the leg had been broken and then healed, and it showed that someone had cared enough, someone close to it had cared enough to tend to it while its leg healed, take care of it, and then they were able to heal. And so that shows a level of compassion, a level of self-awareness, that there's a being like you that deserves compassion, right? And so I think we can learn from that. And I think the world is not as dark as it's made out to be, you know? We have to see that for ourselves. It's so easy to get caught up in these really negative narratives about the human experience. And I think the reality is we're hearing this side, we're hearing this side, and it's so intense, but that's not the majority of people. That's not the majority of people's lived experiences. The meaning is what you make it. You decide the parameters of your reality. If you want to go through your life nose to the grindstone, working every day to check all the boxes and all the things that you're supposed to do, and then get to the end of your life and realize like, oh, I wasn't actually living. Because to me personally, there's a big difference between living and being alive. A lot of people are alive, but I'm curious as to how many people are actually living. It's something that I think a lot about, like, you know, you hear some of your manifestation and the words you speak to yourself, but it's true, right? Like if your inner dialogue is, I'm not good enough, life's terrible, all of those things, like that becomes your reality because that's the frame of reference you see. And so if you can take a step back and just like think about the crazy fact that you're here right now, like the statistical anomaly of you existing, watching this video with the magic box in your hand that contains all of human knowledge, like just take a moment for that because it's pretty intense, and we need to appreciate more that that's what's going on. The biggest shift you can make, as opposed to asking, what do I want to do, but why am I here? Like there's lots of things I want to do. There's lots of things I'm sure that would make my life very fulfilling, but why am I here? What about me in this moment is important? And I think that for me, I'm here to have these conversations. I'm not a philosopher, I'm not really a scholar, I'm none of those things, but I'm someone with a burning curiosity about the human experience. And I think that you are too, because you're here watching this. And for me, it's having these conversations. It's being able to have the time and the freedom and the safety in my life to think about these kinds of things, because a lot of people don't have that. They're genuinely concerned about where their next meal is going to come from and how they're going to get drinking water. And we have an opportunity as a society to sort of change that narrative. And if you're able to define your values, if you're able to make your own meaning in life, then you're going to succeed. And we can make the world a better place. The one piece of advice I always took away from my parents, and this is the motto for my life, and I think it should be the motto for the entire world, and it's don't be a dick. It's not that hard. Don't be a dick. Go out into the world with your best intentions. Try and view people as having their best intentions. And figure out your own meaning. And how are you going to do that? Read. I know that's wild advice coming from me, but read. Read widely. Find people who you think are interesting and read their books. Read philosophy, read self-help, read trashy fiction novels, and then go out and read the people that disagree with them. If you read a news article and someone is saying everything that you want to hear, then Google that article with dissent or whatever it is. Like Google that person's name and then wrong, right? And then you will find articles debating that idea, and talk to your family and friends about these things. If you read an interesting concept, if you read an interesting article somewhere, talk to people you know about it. Have these conversations, make other people more comfortable thinking about this, because I guarantee you a lot of people in your life are having these same kinds of thoughts. And when you are having those conversations, listen and respond with kindness. Listen and respond with compassion. Make it a place where we can have these conversations where it's safe to disagree. I mean, obviously don't put up with people that are just unhinged and, crazed, but you can disagree with people and have it be okay. There's nuance to every topic in life. There's nuance to people's life experiences that's going to frame how they respond to different situations, and I think that that's super important. Travel if you can. There are dozens and hundreds of cultures and languages on this planet, and they all have a different viewpoint. They all have something to offer. We can't exist in echo chambers where everything is sterile and everyone agrees with us. We need to get out in the world Go to museums, learn history, learn about the country you live in, learn about the countries you're visiting, see where they went wrong, see where they went right, think about ways that can be better, and then discuss these ideas with people. And another big piece, which I think I've talked before, is refuse to participate in a culture of dissatisfaction. Don't allow people to tell you what you have isn't good enough, your dreams aren't good enough, you're not good enough, because it's not true. You're alive right now, and that's freaking crazy. It's crazy. So think about that. Ponder your own existence. Why are we conscious? Why do we sleep? What do you dream about in life? What does that mean to you? These are all really important things to think about. We just have such a unique opportunity right now with science we have, with the technology we have, with the theology we have, to create something really interesting. I truly believe that we are on the cusp of something quite brilliant as little sentient monkeys running around, making YouTube videos and blog posts and navel gazing on why we exist at all. Super lighthearted topics. You don't have to do anything more than be alive. You're not required to go out and be amazing, but I think you can be if you want. And maybe your amazing is just being a good neighbor and being a good friend and being a good family member. And maybe your amazing is going out and inventing the thing that finally, gets us off this planet, or whatever it might be. But it's nice. For me, really, people always say, oh, what do you plan to do with your life? And whatever I want. I want to have a nice time. I want to go out and I want to see mountains and I want to travel and I want to spend time with my sisters, and that's what I want to do with my life. And that's fine, and I don't have to justify that to anyone. And neither do you. You can make meaning. You are a sentient being on a living spaceship, living in one of the most interesting times to be alive, and you have access to an abundance of knowledge. Use it. Do something with it. Make art, make bad art, write bad novels, make really bad YouTube videos, but do whatever you want and find some meaning in this, because I don't think you're ever going to get an answer from anyone else about what the meaning of your life is. Alright, my dudes, that is what I have for you this week. I hope you weren't coming here for any answers, because I am not smart enough to explain any of the concepts that I was trying to talk about fully. And if you came here listening to me wanting to find out the meaning of life, and I had told you what it was, I really, really hope that you wouldn't have listened to me, because I don't think that any one person is going to be able to tell that to you. And if they do try and tell you that and they're wearing a silly hat, don't listen. But yeah, I hope you liked this. If you didn't, let me know. If you did, let me know. You can catch me on Instagram, and you can find a link on my blog. I'll have those linked down below. And as always, I'm so grateful you're here, and I will catch you in the next one.